What's up, guys? As you all know, I am a huge bass kayak fishing fan. I love to bass fish from my kayak. And so if you're like me, when you first got into fishing, you started looking online for some bait casters, perhaps some spinning rods, spinning reels, and you got sticker shock. You could not believe how expensive this quality stuff is. And that's how I got turned on to KastKing. I started looking for high-end quality fishing equipment that people could afford. And that is KastKing's, that's their slug line, affordable fishing innovation. And they tell the truth. I enjoyed their fishing equipment so much that I went out and initiated contact with KastKing to become an ambassador. I have been an ambassador now for 2.5 years. I don't bring it up a lot. But hey, I just want to say to y'all, if you want to help support the show, you're looking for some quality fishing equipment, head over to d-410.com/fish. Click on the link, check out the KastKing gear. You'll be happy you did. I'll get a little bit of thank you from KastKing. You're supporting the show. We're all happy. Thank you so much. Now on to the show.
Woo!
Yeah, I'm not feeling it either. What's up, OG5? Is it me, or is like the last month just been blah?
I think the last
That's
month
not
has
just
been
you.
blah.
Yeah, I'm in a mood today, just like I was yesterday.
You were in a fucking mood yesterday.
I was fucking, yep. I didn't even enjoy playing fucking Battlefield.
Listen,
I got off and went and beat myself up in the driveway for an hour, and only then did I not be in a fucking MCP pants mood.
When Don gets excited, he does start to talk. Normally, Don is not a
Morgan
very
knows he watches the live stream. When I'm playing online
Don,
and I ain't saying shit.
He's pissed. He was in a fucking mood last night. He wasn't saying fucking nothing to me. He wasn't calling shit out, nothing. He was like, fuck y'all.
I'm done.
He was mad.
Today's not much of a difference.
We got done like, what was it, like 10 to 9 or something like that? He's like, all right, I'm going to go beat the shit out of myself.
No, when I
It's
fucking...
like, goddamn, Eeyore.
Eeyore. Yeah, I went out in the fucking driveway and
Gotta go work
fucking did my workout. I did feel a hell of a lot better afterwards. And the problem is, it's external influences that I can't control. And they're not my kid for once.
Isn't that usually what it is? It's always something else that there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, but it's more frustrating when it's not a family member or someone you choose to pair yourself up with.
Right.
When it's an external person that it's just like, fuck, there's nothing I can do in this situation.
Right.
Can't tell them to fuck off. So yeah, today's another day. So after this, I'll probably go out in the garage again.
Beat the shit out of yourself.
Mike, you want to come over this weekend and help me finish building my mess fly?
I am so fucking busy this weekend.
Yeah, me too.
Last weekend I went up to Dad's. We were running the skid steer, clearing the property.
For those of you who aren't up onto your blue collar jargon, the simple person might refer to it as a bobcat. But somewhere in the world, they got the names got changed. Obviously, Bobcat's a name brand, Don. I know, but everybody called those fucking things Bobcat for the first 30 years. In the last 15 and a half, now they're skid steers.
Front end loader, skid steer, Bobcat, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Fucking, we ran.
My neighbor used to rent those out, and he'd drive. And this is in Kentucky. God, it's back in the 80s. He could ride a wheelie in one of those motherfuckers.
Yeah. I don't have a whole bunch of experience with them, but I know how to figure things out relatively quickly, and it's like any other machine. It's, controls are pretty much the same. Morgan, you probably know that. They're all relative. 2 joysticks. I mean, on a skid steer, Bobcat, there's no foot pedals really. It's all hand control. Whereas like a track hoe or something like that, you've got your joystick, your forward and backward sticks or, pedal combo or whatever. But anyway, it was, kind of like riding a bike. You just, once you use a machine, you just kind of figure out how to make it work. So I hopped on and did that.
Does that have the rake with the claw on it?
Yeah.
I can't remember what
Yeah.
That's badass right there.
That's a secondary, that's an accessory. This is a borrowed machine through my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law's best friend, he's got his own company and like he does septic systems and well systems and stuff like that. So he
propane accessories.
Yeah, he has to be able to grade and whatnot for leach fields and septic tanks and whatnot. So, plus my brother-in-law knew how to run machines his whole life. Even though that's not what he does now. But anyway, they had, some machines. This was a spare one that was sitting around. He was like, bring it up to the house, use it. Because my dad needed some shit done. And, the property floods out really, really badly. I mean, it gets anywhere from 3 to 6 inches of water buildup at any given area on the property. So they basically, when they graded it before my parents bought it, they turned it into a giant ass fishbowl and then brought in a bunch of trucks of that shell rock shit, built up the area where the house is and the driveway is and all that, and put the house on it, and that doesn't flood, but everything else around it floods. So, they
What's the matter?
basically,
Don't you all like mosquitoes?
yeah,
I'm
they
great for
basically
some
dry docked
bitches.
the house in a fucking, in a pond. So,
If you're a frog, you'd
Um,
be happier than a frog in water full of mosquitoes.
exactly. So, we did that last weekend, and then it wasn't supposed to go up on Sunday. I had some water heater I had to replace for my mother on Sunday, and then come to find out,
Don't hold on. Don't you love when people call those hot water heaters?
yeah, yeah. What else is it?
I got a brand new bread toaster.
A cold water
Actually,
cooler?
yeah. It's kind of like I want unsweet tea. You got a remote. You got a reverse osmosis system
That's
back there.
just fucking tea.
It's like you guys reverse osmosis sweet tea to make it unsweet. You can't unsweeten things unless
Yeah.
you send it to. No, you have regular tea and sweet tea.
Right.
Or what
Exactly.
about people that want to unthaw something?
Want to unwahoo, huh?
What people who say I want to unthaw my steak or whatever.
I've never heard
Yeah.
that.
Meaning they,
I've heard that a couple times. Yeah. Want to unthaw it.
yeah,
Huh.
Yeah.
yeah, which would be, of course, to freeze it.
Right.
But
Yep.
But yeah, so I had to go do water heater on Sunday, and then come to find out, my dad was messing with the machine up there, and he hit the fucking well head and blew the
Oh,
1.25 inch fucking pipe. I mean, the
Hey, to be fair to your father, the damn thing ran out in front of him and froze in the headlights.
my brother-in-law told him, "Why didn't you honk the horn to tell it to get the fuck out of the way?"
Because you
He said
reverse.
that's what he said. That's
This is
what
the-
I do every time I hit a tree. I honk the horn and tell it to move.
It ain't my fault your backup alarm wasn't working. God damn it! Told you to fix it.
I think Dad just got a little squirrely on it. That's all. And he didn't really do anything major. I mean, he broke the pipe, so they had no water for the majority of the day. And my mom called me. She was like, "SOS! I need help." I was like, "Oh fuck, what's wrong?" She's like, "We ain't got no water. Dad broke the fucking well." It's like shit.
Minor technicality.
I was like, "Well, I gotta go do a water heater for my mother." I said, "Let me take care of that, and I'll be up." So I had to go take care of that. So this weekend, Saturday.
To
I
be
gotta
fair,
go.
I know that's the third time I said it in this episode, but I think no water trumps cold water, doesn't it?
Well,
Like you
she's
got
been
cold water, we
waiting.
got no water, so we're gonna
Look,
switch this
look.
around real quick.
She's been waiting on this water heater for months,
Yeah.
and she's been saving up for it. So I had the free weekend. I told her I'd be there. I promised her I'd be there. So
I think it was last October when I went to Kentucky for my mom's heart surgery.
yeah,
She had a garbage disposal sitting there. Oh yeah, Home Depot's supposed to come install that. They keep pushing off. I've been waiting a month. I said, call them and cancel that. I'll put it in tomorrow. Of course, she lives in Warsaw, Kentucky, where the mom and pop fucking hardware stores closed on Sundays, and so I had to drive almost an hour to a Walmart to get it wasn't a basin wrench. It was something I needed. It was I needed a T or something, I think, to hook her washing machine in. But anyhow,
oh, the dishwasher.
it was something like, no, I know what it was. She bought this kit, but it didn't have. I needed the seal to go around when you put the outlet in the bottom of the sink, the putty or whatever.
Mm.
And so I went and I bought. They actually make basically sink versions of head gaskets now instead of using the putty.
Yeah, it's just a rubber,
I'm like, why
rubber
the
deal or
And so I
Some
went
of
and
them are
bought it,
foam.
and it's the same company as the kit that came with her disposal. I'm like, why didn't they just include because then they couldn't charge you $10 for these. It's a $2 part.
yeah,
Kind of like back in the day when this would drive me nuts. You'd sell a printer, And they did not come with USB cables because that's where the margin was. The CompUSA would buy a USB cable for 38 cents and charge you $40. That's because they were only making $4 off computers and $2 off consoles for Xboxes. And so for years, you'd buy a printer that required a USB cable, it wouldn't come with them. Then when they started making wireless printers, they came with a USB cable so you could plug it in temporarily to configure the wireless on it.
Yeah.
So you bastards. So yeah.
Stupid.
So my mom was kind of the same way. I've been waiting 2 months to get this disposed. I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't always get the opportunity to go to my mother's house because
Yep.
she's a half hour in the complete opposite direction of any other thing that I have going on. So, I told her I'd be there, and there was a few other things I was going to take care of while I was there, but I kind of had to rush. But got up to Dad's and took care of the well system, and then once the wellhead got fixed, went over to the well equipment and tried to fire it up, and the fucking aerator tank was overflowing and wouldn't shut down, so I had to sit there and figure that out. So that was awesome. And then I just kind of stood around and watched my brother-in-law play around on that machine for another like 3 hours. And then
I'm
this
sure there's a
weekend,
beer or five in there somewhere.
oh yeah, a few. But this weekend,
Now remember,
my aunt-
kids, if you're going to drive yourself a borrowed skid steer, make sure to do it while consuming lots and lots of Miller Lite.
That's right.
'Cause that's
Well,
how
my
a real
aunt
blue
texted
collar
me.
man drives it.
My aunt texted me on Sunday and said, "Oh, we just got back in town from New Jersey, and both our toilets are leaking at the base." All right, I'll let you know when I can be there. So
I
Saturday
can't.
morning,
I have nothing for that because you've done that to both my toilets.
Yeah.
No joke to be made
Saturday, yeah. Both your toilets, I've had to do that. To.
there. No, you did that to one. We completely swapped out the other.
Yeah, but
Got me one of them hurricane toilets.
oh yeah,
No, it's not a toilet. It's a toilet that came from a house that got lost in a hurricane.
yeah. So I got to go do that Sunday morning, and then I think my dad was asking if we could change the culvert pipe in his driveway since we have the skid steer. So we're gonna do that.
Well, while you're on that subject, that was going to be my next question. Obviously,
Yeah.
the pipe would be expensive, but with your brother-in-law's handling skills, if you guys were to get a trencher, couldn't you just like dig a trench, get a big old plastic culvert, drill holes in it, put some gravel on it, make a French drain for his property?
So he already has a culvert pipe in. It's like a 12-inch one. My
Mm-hmm.
brother-in-law tends to go big or go home,
Mm-hmm.
and he has a spare 18-inch diameter actual culvert pipe that he was like, we're going to tear up the driveway. And, once he gets an idea in his head, he's the type of person where you don't stop him. He just does.
That's a good thing, though. It beats
Yeah.
the people who come up with ideas and don't fucking do anything about it.
Exactly. He follows through.
I
with
got a
his
lot of
shit.
those in my life.
He definitely has a lot of follow through when he does this shit. When something pops into his head and he's determined to do it, he's gonna fucking do it. And so they're gonna rip out the 12-inch, put in the 18-inch, and cover it all back up and continue with the rest of the property. But that's Saturday, and then Sunday, I got to go to my sister-in-law's house. My wife's sister. I got to fix their kitchen sink because it's been leaking for a month, and I haven't had a chance to drive an hour down to their house to go fix that. And then her aunt also has about a handful of things that I need to do, including changing her kitchen faucet. So I got a lot of plumbing shit the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing this weekend instead of helping you set up your mess tent.
Yeah. I guess I can wait.
Yeah.
What have you been up to, Morgan? How you doing, fella?
Doing good.
You got anything on
Just,
your honeydew list you want to talk about?
Yeah, probably gonna watch the trailer this weekend. So
That's always a good plan.
Slide that microphone a little closer to you. I don't know if you're not coming through the mic, or if you're coming through the mic on your webcam. It sounds a little
I
distant.
gotta slide myself closer to the mic because it's at the edge. So.
Mike kind of seem like he's actually using the mic on his webcam. He sounds distant
Yeah.
from it. Like when you get up right on it, you're not like you can hear my.
So is that any better?
Rub your
Yeah,
whiskers on that
okay,
bad boy.
it's-
Rub that on there.
it's-
Rub it on your balls. Go ahead, like that.
Yeah.
See, I'm not hearing it. Are you hearing it?
Do you guys like that? Yeah.
I don't hear it.
Is that good? Hang on.
That's my point. I should be able to hear it like this. I can't hear Mike's either, so maybe.
What about that? Is that better?
No, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's actually using your webcam.
Oh,
mic.
no, but
That's the webcam one right there.
Okay, well, it is what it is. We're
I don't know.
oh, that was
Whoa.
good right there.
Whoa.
Whatever you just did.
Oh, holy!
You're talking to my guy all wrong.
You know,
It was really good for like a half a second.
half a second he came through all. Whoa.
Well,
But we're 24 minutes into it. We'll keep cooking.
okay.
Have you
But
guys?
no, yeah, I don't have anything too super exciting going on ever.
Yeah.
Work and go home. Work and go home
Yeah,
every day.
You've been fishing?
not too much. I've just been working. I think I'm like 28 days straight. I haven't taken a day off, so
That's
When you don't really have much else to do, why not?
that's
yeah,
true.
exactly.
I mean, are you still going stir crazy up there, or like,
Oh yeah, it's pretty terrible, but
yeah,
Um,
looking to make a change again?
yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen. It
Yeah.
just we'll see.
Yeah,
Have you guys watched the monster Ed Gein story?
yes.
Have you seen that yet, Morgan?
No, I haven't.
You on Netflix? You got Netflix on that, dear?
Oh yeah, I got it.
Watch that, man. That's something. I've always heard the name Ed Gein. I just never put it together.
I'd heard it before, but it was never really something that I thought about.
Basically, Monster's the same theory. It's the same series, not theory, series on Netflix that did the episode on Jeffrey Dahmer, and then the Menendez brother, which I didn't watch that one, and I think somebody else. And
They're going to come. The next one's supposed to be about another crazy person or something like that. That was an ad at the end of.
yeah, I can't remember who it was. Was that the chick that?
Some chick, yeah.
I know, but I can't remember if it's that the chick that they made the movie Monster about in the early 2000s that had homegirl-
Eileen.
Charlize Theron in it, right?
yeah, Eileen's Mayos
Eileen Wuornos.
Warnos, yeah.
I don't think it was about her, no, because there's been shit about her before.
So Ed Gein, Morgan, is the guy. Imagine this, if you will. Could you imagine being so fucked up as a person?
Lizzie Borden.
Lizzie Borden. Yeah, she's the one who killed. Yeah, that was in the 1800s as well, wasn't it? Early 1900s.
Yeah, Lizzie Borden, I think, was in the 1800s.
So Ed Gein, imagine being so fucked up, Morgan, that you literally changed pop culture and society as we fucking know it.
Okay.
His shit went down in 1944, 45-ish.
How many movies? Like 4?
You know our friend Norman Bates? That's based on
Okay.
Ed Gein.
Oh,
Buffalo
no kidding.
Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs with the based on Ed Gein. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Leatherface, based on Ed Gein.
Yep.
Guy really existed. He lived in, was it Arkansas, Minnesota, some shit?
It was I think it was Minnesota.
Missouri, I think. One of those
Yeah.
weird flyover states.
One of the Midwest.
They don't
states.
come out and say he's special. They refer to him as a simple tradesman. He's probably in his 30 at the time.
But they certainly made him out to be like
He was
on
touched.
the spectrum.
He
of
was touched.
some kind.
He basically, his mom, straight out of every horror movie, you know, caught him masturbating. You know, you're going to spread the devil's seed. Just completely destroyed sex for him at a young age. You know, I only lay with your father twice, and I got you and your brother horrible. You know, the cliche Christian stuff. But once again, this guy's mom is the reason all those horror movies had moms based on, because she's patient zero. And so she's totally abused this fucking kid. So by the time he's in his 20s or 30s, put it this way, he was either old enough or too simple to go off to war, because this happened around 1944. When the newspaper clippings and photos of the atrocities that the Nazis were committing on the Jews, the concentration camps, the human testing, and then once they closed down Birchwald, and the news came out about the chick who used to torment people there, and they started putting in comic books called The Bitch of Birchenwald, and talking about how they found in her house lampshades made out of skin from Jews and all this different stuff, and they embellished it for the comic books, right, to sell more comics. Well, he started seeing these photos, and he got real interested in that shit because he's a sociopath, and so when his mom died, straight out of fucking Psycho, Norman Bates, he tried to dig her up, but somehow they had enough money to have an iron sarcophagus above her casket. So in his mind, Mama says, well, just dig up the broad next to me and use her. I'll come back in her body. So it wasn't even his mom. He dug up the lady next to her, dressed him up in his mom's clothes, and kept her in his house for years, just like Norman Bates. That's where the whole Norman Bates thing come from. And then he was a cross-dresser. His mom used to catch him wearing his underwear and shit. And so that kind of...
Her underwear, yeah.
Yeah, her underwear. And that kind of got in his head where he wanted to see what it was like to be a woman. So then he started digging up other chicks and killing people, just like Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs, making fucking skin suits to dance around the house with his boobs and
The old tuck between the
old
legs.
tuck, straight out of, would you fuck me? I'd fuck. Well, the cool thing, the way they do the series is the guy who played Jax on Son of Anarchy. The guy who played Jax on Sons of Anarchy, he plays Ed Gein.
Charlie Hunnam.
Roseanne's sister from Roseanne Show plays his mom.
I didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
that's the sister,
yeah.
Jackie. That's Jackie, and Roseanne
Yeah.
plays his mom.
Right.
Of course, his girlfriend's this hot blonde, which you look in real life, she looked like she rolled out of a pig farm. The girlfriend in real life, Charlie Hunnam looked a lot like Ed Gein. They got him pretty good, the haircut and everything. But she was,
Yeah.
in the movie, she was a fucking 9.5 of 12. In real life, she was a 1.5 of 2. But she was feeding him these snuff pictures and shit. She was kind of not at the time realizing that he was digging people up, but the two of them were sharing these photos and talking fantasies, and you know, her goal was to go to New York and be an assistant to one of these crime scene photographers that New York from the New York Times days when Al Capone would shoot somebody or whatever, you know, you'd see the murder scenes back before they started censoring all that. So her whole thing is she wanted to go to New York and do crime scene photos. But yeah, so got the dead mom in the outfit, talks to her, doesn't even try to hide it from people, starts making upholstering chairs with human skin, particularly from the chest because he liked the way nipples looked, lampshades, making cereal bowls out of skulls, the whole 9 yards, kills 2 hunters with a chainsaw. So that's where the Leatherface aspect comes. But the cool thing about the way they do this series is they're showing it in 1944 time, and then all of a sudden they're kicked in the 1950, and here's Alfred Hitchcock. And so they go to show how Alfred Hitchcock got a hold of the story and turned it into Psycho, and then how that changed how people viewed movies. Because prior to Psycho, you'd go to a movie house and they just ran the movie 24 hours a day. You pay a ticket, you go in, and if you're an hour and a half into the movie, you just wait until the end and wait till it starts over again, find what you missed and leave. That Psycho was the first one that actually had show times because Alfred Hitchcock wanted you to get the continuity and follow the story all the way through. And so and then they'd kick back and the story go, and then all of a sudden now they're kicking to the 70s where they're in Texas filming Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They don't spend a whole lot of time on it, but they basically, here's where this comes from. And
they touched on how they designed the mask and all that stuff, and they kind of went back and forth about the mask that he made and like the dancing around and stuff like that, and then the chainsaw dancing theatrics and whatnot. Like it kind of went back and forth, which was interesting.
And the irony of it is the writer of this series puts it through talking about how, a lot of stuff. They had crime scene photos of the house, so the faces that he had, all that shit was real. But they kind of talk about how the story kind of got embellished and things are added through time when they were writing Psycho or when they're writing Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because those are based on. And so they're kind of trying to set themselves up as we're better than that. But then you're doing the same thing. You're making a shitload of money. Charlie Hunnam gives Ed Gein a weirdest fucking voice. Turns out his voice sounded nothing like that. And Charlie Hunnam
was that the case?
Yeah, people are pissed.
I was wondering because that was such a weird.
That was a choice. In an interview, he said he did it because he wanted to humanize Ed Gein and show trauma that he went through as a child. And because Charlie did a deep method acting on this, I guess did research. He's heard the interviews of him talking, so he knows that wasn't a real voice. And they're
supposedly, like when he was done filming, he didn't go home for like a week or a month or something.
Yeah, he went to the
like that,
graveyard,
so
the
he
real
was
life
waiting.
graveyard, and talked to him. Said, "I'm out,"
Yeah, yeah,
which isn't too surprising because they said Jim Carrey did the same thing with Andy Kaufman on Man on the Moon.
yeah.
When you went to the set of Man on the Moon, you couldn't call him Jim; you had to call him Andy, and like he literally became Andy Kaufman.
He took, yeah, that was really,
and I
really,
think Charlie would have been an even better
Wow.
Ed Gein if it wasn't for that stupid voice. He kind of had this. It was kind of like this semi homo,
It was like a, and then, the Midwest. Whoa, mother wouldn't like that. Like one of those very soft spoken Midwestern, like
And-
a little bit higher
and
pitched
to the
kind of
point where
voice.
like you almost have to turn on subtitles because he's talking lower than the rest of the fucking cast.
Yeah,
It's like turn him up in the fucking post production.
yeah.
But once you got past that, it was done really well, and it was definitely gruesome, especially when you had a box full of vulvas.
Yeah. Yeah.
This definitely ain't something you're going to sit down and watch with your 12-year-old kids. I'll say that. But it's a good series. Anytime I watch, obviously because I'm a history guy, but I prefer biographical stories. And so anytime I watch anything that's based on a true person, I'm that guy. So I'm got my phone in the other hand, looking at Wikipedia to see what the real people look
I
like.
do the same shit. Melissa was doing the same thing. Well, that never actually happened. And you're like,
Oh.
oh, okay. They were just embellishing it
Yeah,
and
some of
making it. Well, and it was interesting because on the last one, I'm not sure I really cared for the ending that they did.
The Happy
She didn't
Gilmore
need-
style. No, the Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison style retirement
Yeah,
home.
very weird. And, like maybe that was just what they were thinking was going on in his head, or maybe I don't know. They made him out to be, I think they were trying to get people to sympathize with him, which I thought was an interesting choice because he still was a murderer.
Yeah, he
and
lived until
a
he
grave
died
robber.
he died in a nut house in 1984.
Yeah.
And he'd been in there for probably 30, 40 years. So they finally got him. They finally,
Yeah.
Medication and science caught up with the times. And oh, you're a schizophrenic. Here, eat these pills. Problem solved. But
I think it was in 1959, I think, or something like that when they caught him.
yeah, she's like, there's a couple options. Unfortunately, lobotomies have fallen out of fashion. Like, bitch, lobotomies were the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
If you ever watched the series, tie-in. So the TV series Norman Bates, right? You guys remember that from, it was on CMG or whatever in early 2000s?
I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
That was a great show. The woman who played his mother on that played in the American Horror Stories, and there was there was a season about, it was the origin stories for Nurse Ratched from One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And because of the timeline, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest took place in the 70s, and Nurse Ratched was in her 40s, and so you rewind 20 years or 15 to get the origin stories. She was working at insane asylums when frontal lobotomies were all the rage. And so in that series, they go into great detail on frontal lobotomies and how they worked, and more often how they didn't work. And it's, you watch that, and once again, because it's American Horror Story, they're going to amp the gore and the scary part, but still the basic science was still there. And like, how did
Wasn't Kathy Bates part of all that?
Kathy Bates, yeah,
Wasn't
she's
wasn't
in American
she
Horror
part of,
Stories.
like-
Yeah,
Yeah.
way American Horror Stories worked is they had the same cast but different storylines every
I
year.
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, great
Like
show.
yeah, because it was like AHS, and the one was like hotel, and
Yeah.
and then so on, asylum, and so on and so
Yep,
forth.
yep, yep.
But yeah, that was the first few were at least were good. I like the first few anyway.
And so yeah, so she played in that, which was kind of interesting. So, but yeah, the Ed Gein story, go check it out. It's worth a watch. The only problem I have is whenever we find a good show, we tend to burn through it and binge watch it. I don't mind
that's
binge.
the new thing.
I know, but my thing is this: let's watch a few episodes, and then go do something else, so that later on tonight, when we're bored as fuck, we have a few episodes to watch. If we burn through these all today and tomorrow, then on Sunday we're like, well, shit, there's nothing to watch.
See, here's my thing with this: is Stranger Things is coming out next month. That's a big thing. There's no denying it's a big thing. My wife loves it. I do like it. I didn't start watching it when it came out. I've never been a big fan of movies, and well, I mean, I'm a big fan of the classic, movies from when I grew up, and even older movies from the 70s and 80s that I've always loved.
Like
But I've
Gator
never been
McCluskey.
big on, huh?
Like Gator McCluskey.
Yeah, but I've never been really super interested in TV and movies and whatnot. Music was always more my thing. But um, she started Stranger Things all over again, and I didn't want to go through that whole process again because because I'm not interested in movies and TV that much. What I told her is I'll rewatch season 4 before season 5 comes out. And basically, I want to finish the last episode of season 4 the day before season 5 airs.
Which is a good way to do it, because whenever they do new episodes, anytime that episode, regardless of what show it is, because as a former radio producer, I often watch TV shows, like I could produce this shit. It's fucking easy.
Yeah.
And so what they do is, if this episode is going to refer to shit that happened back in season 2 at the beginning previously on, on Stranger Things, and then they'll cut scene, and so you'll get caught up real quick if anything happens from
Right.
season 3. So that's a very good way of doing it.
Right. So that's the way that I want to do it. And she just finished season 3, and she's been pissed at me because she's like, well, can we start it? And I'm like, no, it doesn't come out for another like month and a half or something like that. She's like, well, you're an asshole.
You need to work on your
Like,
timing.
really? Okay. Yeah. Well, and that was basically what I told her, because I was like, why'd you start it so early? And she was like, well, I didn't realize I was going to get through it so fast.
Okay, controversial topic. When do you give up on a show? Let me give you an example. Walking Dead was all the fucking rage, and I'd watched every season of Walking Dead. I tapped out on the Negan season. I was like, oh, this is
Really?
dumb. Yeah, I was done.
That was a very beloved season.
I was
Apparently.
done with it. Your whole plot line is this guy killed 4 of your best friends. Everybody left in your gang wants to kill this guy. Everybody in your gang, including the son, at some point or another has ended up in a room armed, alone with this fucking guy, and no one ever just went, cut the credits, boys, let's get the fuck out of here. No, this guy literally beat your best friend's brains out with a ball bat in front of his wife. You guys want him dead. Hey, I'm alone in this room with this guy. I got a gun. I can kill him. I'll probably die, but at least he'll be dead. My friends will go, no, we're going to let him live and kill off more of our friends through the next fucking 24 episodes.
Yeah.
No, I'm done. I was out. I was like, this is dumb. So as somebody who's been carrying a firearm for over 13 years daily, one of the biggest inconveniences is when you come home, you need to take your firearm off of yourself and put it somewhere safe, somewhere secure, especially if you have kids. Now, I know most of us are responsible. We have a gun safe somewhere, but let's be honest, usually these gun safes are big, they're bulky, they're kind of out of the way because they're a bit of an eyesore. Your wife doesn't want them where everybody can see them, so sometimes they're in your closet behind some clothes, sometimes they're in the garage, sometimes they're in the mudroom. And let's be honest, taking your firearm out and walking to those locations to secure it is a pain in the butt, but you have to be a responsible firearm owner, especially if you have kids in the house. That's why you need to get yourself a StopBox Pro portable gun safe. You can make it non-portable. You can drill some holes in it, mount it to a place of convenience in your house, but it requires no batteries and no electricity. You simply come in your house, walk up to your safe, choose your finger button combinations, open a safe, remove your firearm from your person, put it in the safe. If you close your safe, just that easy, it's secure. So do yourself a favor, head over to stopboxusa.com/D410 and get all the information today on your StopBox Pro. When seconds count, trust the only non-fail firearm storage box, StopBox Pro, at stopboxusa.com/D410.
I actually never watched it. I never got in. Again, not a big movie and TV guy, so I didn't really, I've seen bits and pieces of it. I saw played a little bit of the video game chapters that had come out at one point or another, but that was I know a lot about, I don't know a lot, but I've seen a lot of, cutscenes and stuff like that from that. And I've heard that was like some of their, like, he was a very beloved, I guess, character to the people that were rooting for the bad guys.
Did you watch Sons of Anarchy at all?
Yes, I watched the whole series from start to finish.
Okay,
That was one of my favorite shows.
Opie gets his head smashed in by the guys in the jail in front of Jax.
Yeah.
Pivotal
A
moment.
fucking pipe.
Now imagine Jax and the rest of the Sons of Anarchy find themselves in the presence of one of those dudes from that jail multiple times, and they just keep scheming on how we going to get the son of a bitch. Well, you were just in a room with him for fucking 20 minutes by yourself and you have a gun. Shoot him in the back of the head. He wasn't even looking at you. No, we got to get the dialogue in and build this character out. I get it's based on a comic book, but I'm out.
Well, that's why I've never really been interested in that, because I don't like if it's too dramatized, I don't give a fuck. You know, it's one thing if it's like science fiction, or if it's like, you know, a story that, okay, maybe it could it happen? We don't know. Probably not likely to happen or something like that. But once you get like overly dramatized, where it's like, you know, the characters are overly in love, or it falls too far away from reality, that's when I'm out. And most shows, in my opinion, these days are like that.
Or what the other thing too is you can tell that a show was meant to be 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah.
And like
And
around
they
season
drag it the
2,
fuck
they
out.
got the feeling that they're going to get canned, and so
Yeah.
the plot line's tight, character movement's good, and then all of a sudden they get picked up for another 3 seasons, and shit slows down and gets dragged out. That's when I'm done. I was the same way
Here's
with
a perfect.
I was the same way with Handmaid's Tale. First 3 seasons, I loved it. By season 4, I was like, "Come on, let's get this fucking over with." I watched it just to finalize it, which I did not on Walking Dead, but I was no longer invested. And plus, as I said before, the writing on that was so blatant politically. And as we spoke on the other podcast, no one knew what an NFO was or an NGO. No one knew what an NGO was. No one ever used the phrase non-government organization until Trump started Doge, and Doge started pulling funding away from non-government organization, because it turns out that's how the politicians filter money to each other. And so the very next season, episode 1 of Handmaid's Tale, she's on a train with her kid, and she feels threatened, and so she desperately runs up and down the train. Is there an NGO here? I need help from an NGO. It's like, you're going to put NGO 3 times in the first scene of season 1 of this because that's in the news? It's like, and so that, or the 3rd season of You during COVID, they started making anti-vaxxer jokes and shit during COVID. It's like, this is a series about a serial killer. He goes around killing people he has the hots for, but you're going to get on your high horse and say that people who don't take their fucking COVID shots are bad people? How about you stay in a world where this doesn't exist? You fucking move on there. But no, it's like, why write it in there?
Well, see, the perfect example, in my opinion, of shows that get drug out, and it's all for the money, is a really good one, is one that's still on the air. It's fucking Grey's Anatomy. Grey's Anatomy was good for the first 5 to 7 seasons. Once they start every fucking, I'd say 2 times per season, at least, there's a major fucking event in Seattle, Washington, or Washington, right? Seattle's in Washington.
Yep.
Yeah, Seattle, Washington. So I have to get my fucking shit off there. There's a major fucking event that happens, and the hospital staff is on high alert. Twice a fucking season this happens, and it's a regular thing. It's every single season. It doesn't matter what it is. The hospital's getting a bomb going through.
That's what they call sweeps weeks.
There's a fucking there's a bomb lodged in a guy. That was one of the earlier seasons. There was a big explosion or something like that. There's a fucking the ferry, you know, crash and the mudslide and, you know, this, that, and the other. It's like,
yeah, I think
how much of this shit is actually happening in real life? It doesn't happen.
Actually, ironically, you just kind of shit on my point. I was going to say, I think that's the show that actually takes real life stories, because I think didn't a ferry like sink in New Jersey or some shit, and then the mudslides in Tennessee. So you're correct. That doesn't happen in the same city all the time, but I think that's the one show who kind of pulled their shit out of the news.
I can tell you, growing up in the Northwest, you know, Tampa to Fort Myers is the distance between Portland and Seattle.
Okay.
And mudslides and shit happen all the time. There's ferries all over, ferries all over Seattle.
Hey.
I think it's probably been since, well, yeah, there's that kind too. But There actually was a ferry that capsized like in the 70s or the 80s.
There's
I
one
don't
more
know if
recent
it's
than that,
happened
I think.
recently,
I'm
but-
not saying it doesn't happen.
I got you.
Don't get me wrong.
But
I'm
just
not
not
saying
in
it
that
doesn't
same
happen.
town every 6
But-
But
months.
it's
zero-
the same characters. It's the same hospital. It's the same fucking town.
Basically, that hospital
would
wouldn't
you-
run because everybody in staff would have PTSD from the shit they
That
go through every
fucking
3.5
place
weeks.
would be underground. It would be so fucked up. That whole town wouldn't exist.
So
See-
would
you
you
know,
watch
in
a
Seattle.
show where it's like, oh, little Billy scraped his knee, so we better put a Band-Aid on it and tell him, oh, it'll be
No.
okay.
No, but
You
see,
know,
that's
I
where
mean, so
but see, that's where they came in with all their romance and all that shit, and they brought in the.
See,
fucking
that's what it comes
McDreevies
down
and
to.
McSweeneys and all
Too
that
much
shit.
goddamn drama and blood. He wants his loving scenes.
I don't give
he
a
wants
flying
his-
fuck
he
about
wants his
that. Like I said
romance.
before, I don't give
He
two
wants his
shits
McDreamies.
about movies and TV.
He wants his McDreamy.
However, we're going on season fucking 20 something, I think, of this show. You would have thought that after the first 5 seasons and after the 5 to 7 seasons and after the first few character die-offs and whatnot, they would have said, all right, that's it, we're done fucking milking this cow, it's over, it's had enough. No, they keep on.
That's 'cause
with
they're making
more and
40
more
million
and
a year
more and
more.
more bullshit.
Well-
And I think it's bullshit. You
Yeah,
know,
I
it's-
feel you.
As
I don't
long
like
as people
shows
keep
that just
watching
drag it
and
out.
the advertisers keep buying.
I
they're
get
gonna
it.
Keep writing plot lines.
I
God,
totally
Morgan,
get-
could you
I get
imagine if he
why.
started watching General Hospital in 1968? By the 80s, he'd have been ripshit pissed.
Jesus. Yeah, those fucking plot lines. But I mean, that's
Oh, see, he's too highbrow for the low common folk who watch soap operas. But when it comes to Grey's Anatomy, goddamn it, that's
Listen.
on at 9 p.m. That's highbrow,
Listen,
smart
listen.
education shit there.
Young and the Restless, General Hospital. We're not going to talk about those.
Well, that was how that
Those
was,
hold a special place in my heart.
it was that type of diatribe that started the kind of inside joke on Stan and Haney about my disdain for the Discovery Channel. Because I got
Oh, really?
Haney mentioned fucking American Restorations one day, and I just went off. I said, that goddamn show. I said, I used to love that show. People, because obviously you can see all the Coca-Cola. People bring all this cool shit in, and they would show you how they're restoring it and buffing it and painting, and then they would come and pick it up. And after season 2, 3, the show got popular. So what'd they do? The producers fucked it up. Let's get rid of the restoration. Let's have people drop off their shit and send his son and his brother out to the junkyard to do stupid little skits for 10 minutes, come back and pick up their shit. There's no restoration in American Restoration. That's like having this old house where they don't even show you any fucking construction work. And what happened? The show, after 3 seasons, crashed and burned. And then they try to bring it back under the concept of, we're going to visit 3 or 4 restoration shops around America, show you how they're doing it, because they killed the show by turning it into a series about Rick, his fucking kids, his brother, and his wife. Nobody cared. The show got big because we like to see old shit get restored, and you took the whole restoration process. I didn't see any more bead blasters. There was no more die grinders, angle grinders, people welding shit in the back. There's no one trying to recreate a Coca-Cola faceplate on a vending machine from 1953. No, it's your dumb son and your fat brother hopping around a junkyard for 10 minutes. No one was interested.
Well, see, that's the interesting thing about YouTube, too. Because
Mhm.
I like following the starter creators,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're just starting out, or maybe they're a few years in, and maybe they've got 10,000 or 100,000 followers, or maybe
Perfect
they even have,
example.
like 400,000 or 500,000.
Perfect
followers.
example, and I shared them with Morgan. The guys over at Cars and Camera. These guys sit around and they rebuild fucking go-karts from the 80s, and now they're building new ones. But, it's all stuff you can do yourself.
Right. But the thing that aggravates me about that is that they get so big, and
Right.
then corporate America comes in.
Or,
And then it gets the money starts to come in, the advertisers start to come in, and it becomes less about what you initially started the whole thing for and more about the bullshit that nobody wants to fucking see.
you mean like the type of channel where someone builds cool trucks back in the day, and now he just has every episode where he destroys $100,000 brand new vehicles just to get people to say, oh my God, did you see how he destroyed that truck?
I wonder who that could be.
Did you see how he ripped the perfectly good bed off that square body Chevy from 1984? Did you see how he destroyed that? It's like, yeah, we get it. You got money. You're blowing up fucking expensive shit.
Yeah.
I guess that's cool for 14-year-olds to watch, but I'm not interested.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's the stuff that's really like, you know, it's fun in the beginning because it's fresh, it's new, it's, you know, it's them doing it themselves. It feels more authentic.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like they give a shit more. And then once corporate America starts to come in and then money and shit starts to get involved and advertisers and companies and stuff like that, that's when it starts to get real fucking uh, you know, the production value starts to go up, and that's when the fucking, in my opinion, the viewership should go down because
Hi. I just
you
want to
fucking
remind y'all
ruin it.
once
That's
again that we here at D-410, we don't just kick off any products. I've gotten plenty of emails asking me to share with you the value of somebody's carpet tread for their house. I've had plenty of emails where we're talking about makeup and all kinds of tchotchke bullshit. And we haven't brought it on here because I'm not going to. Anytime any of us mentions a product, even if we do have some sort of relationship with the company, it's because we've used that product and we stand by it. So, despite the fact
And
that
we
we're
like
broke
it.
as shit, we have no audience. If we did, we would still not come on here and just try to sell you some random shit because
Right,
somebody's
right.
paying us to do it.
Guess what? Morgan and I mean, Don got a product to check out and take a look at. Morgan and I bought ours.
Yeah, no discount, no discount code. Yeah.
Nothing like that. We spent. I mean, we did we were the smart ones where we did
BOGO.
the fucking BOGO.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when they were running a promotion on it, so it was like, well, fuck, let's order it. And you know, it's a buy one get one, so let's fucking split the cost of the buy one, and we get fucking two for the price of one.
And by the
Who
way, you
wouldn't
guys
wanna
can get
fucking do that?
yourself
We
a.
paid for that.
By the way, you
So-
guys can get yourself your own Stopbox Pro gun safe by going to what'sinyourhead.com, clicking on that link, and it'll give us a little thank you back. And while you're at it, if you're wanting to get into some fishing or perhaps look for some more affordable fishing equipment, go to d-410.com/fish. Click on that link, check out all the fine products from Cast King. You'll be happy you did.
Yeah, we buy all that
So-
shit, folks.
So what you're talking about, Mike, goes way back to when I was a youngin.
Back in my
And-
day, when Lincoln
What-
was still in office,
Which part? Because we kind of bounced a little bit there.
weren't you an usher
Well,
at Ford's
you're
Theater?
Talking about the, yeah. I was Lincoln's. Whatever.
At the Ford Theater.
Yeah, but you know when you were talking about shows that
over
you know,
over dramatized.
well that and
Just kill the
or just
premise of the show that
basically
made it popular to
advertise.
begin with in order to get more.
Right.
They
Well,
dumb it down
jump
because
it-
they want to get the mass audience to tune in.
Yeah.
Or you know shows that go too far. Now I'm straying off of my point, but
Right.
it's like you know the term jumping the shark.
Mhm.
You know comes way back from Happy Days when you know they were looking for something you know sensational to get people still interested.
Yeah, I think they went to
So
like
they did, like,
Florida
this-
on spring break, and Fonzie
Yeah,
somehow
something
ended up
like
in a
that.
ski
Fonzie.
show because
yeah water skiing.
water skiing was a big
Jumping
thing
the
back in
shark.
at tourist traps. You know, you'd go down. We're going to go down to
Yeah.
Tampa Bay and watch the ski. Actually, Cape Coral, Florida had a ski show. If you go back to the old 50s when they
Yeah.
had the Rose Garden, they actually had ski shows. You know where that place? You know where Waltzing Waters was? Say that 5 times fast.
Waltzing Waters was?
Yeah, you know where that was in Cape Coral, where they had the dolphin shows and the ski shows?
No.
In the original location of the Rose Garden where the Iwo Jima statue was?
Where was the original? I don't remember where that's at.
Well, now it's on it's on Veterans, but it was originally in the Rose Garden, which was attached
Well,
to
yeah, I know where that
Waltzing
is, but-
Water, which was they had a giant lake and dolphin shows and like synchronized ski teams.
Where is the Rose Garden? That's what I'm
It
asking.
doesn't exist anymore.
Well, where would it have been?
Well, that's what I'm getting
Where
to.
was it,
One would
Don?
think if you're going to have a ski thing, it would be on the Caloosahatchee River, right?
Sure.
No, it's where the goddamn German Social Club is on Pine Island Road.
No
I
fucking
did-
Now
way,
I know
really?
this is. I know you guys, the audience, like, where the fuck's that? Just think of a big, open, dry field. It was in a field. It was all man-made. It was a giant pool. The actual German Social Club building is one of the few remaining buildings from Waltzing Waters. And from what I understand, you can walk back in the woods and find a few pump houses from when they used to work for the pools. But that's where it was, all the way out there.
Right next to Bubba's.
Why wouldn't you just build it now next to the river? Why would you build it out in a swamp? What, 20 miles from the closest body of water?
And back then, it was probably that was in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah,
There
you
was nothing
basically
out there.
you had like drive down Del Prado and hang a left.
Southwest Cape didn't exist back in the fucking 50s.
Yeah.
It was Cape Coral was Southeast Cape. Fucking Del Prado, and that was it. That was Cape Coral.
Yep, Waltzing Waters and all that stuff. The Rose Garden was where German Social Club in Bubba's is now.
Yeah, that's wild.
Middle of a field. I'm gonna build.
Fucking nowhere.
I'm gonna build an amusement in Florida to attract people for dolphin shows and water skiing. How are you gonna do that on the river? Ain't that brackish water? Pshaw, I'm gonna build that shit out in a big ass dry field. Because property is cheaper, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a lot to do with it.
We don't need a deep pool. Dolphins only need about 1.5 feet of water. Mike and I've seen it.
Yeah. They don't fucking need much.
Who cares if they're not happy? They like it when the dorsal fin flops over. It makes the kids sad.
Oh, Doofy.
Doofy the dolphin.
Oh, we miss Doofy.
Oh, poor Doof. The Doofarooski.
Oh,
The Doof.
old Doof.
Old Doofaroo.
I got a wreck I want to throw out there. I think we're probably getting close to.
I haven't heard
Rapping,
back
I'm
in a while,
assuming.
so I'm going to close this. What are you talking about? Thanks for bringing a concern and attention. I helped you out. Sorry, before we went on,
Ooh. Uh-oh.
I discovered that our websites were down.
Are we getting a cease and desist?
Let's see. I'm going to what's your head. Okay, we're back up, boys. We can put the podcast out tonight. No,
Yay!
apparently the server didn't reboot properly. What concerns me is I just recently upgraded our resources because we've outgrown it, and I'm hoping, man, I hope they don't come at me telling me I need more resources.
Because that means more money.
That means a lot more money, but it also means that more people are downloading our shit, which would be a good thing. But
Good.
as of right now, there's no financial correlation between how many people download our shit and how many of our bills get paid. So if you guys want to help out with that, head over to d-410.com, click on that Patreon link, sign up, subscribe. Our lowest package is like $1 a month. The most expensive is $7.50 a month. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to peek into my mind and how low my self-esteem is, our premium package is $7.50 a month. You can't even... That's less than a venti white chocolate mocha with an extra shot from Starbucks. I've seen people's YouTube channels sign up for our Patreon and sign up for our Ultimate package. It only costs you $500 a month. How do you
Like
sleep at
anybody that
night?
much.
I think $7 is a bit steep. So with that being said, you can help support the show for as little as $1 a month. And there's some perks on there, so we give away shit and all that good stuff. So head over to what'sinyourhead.com or d-410.com, click on that Patreon link, sign up and subscribe, or simply go to youtube.com and look up 410 Media and watch our videos. You can help us out that way as well. So yeah, our website's up, so that's good.
Sweet.
Now you were getting ready to say something else, Mike?
I just had a wreck real quick.
Or Rick?
I think I mentioned it to you guys, but that we're not affiliated at all with Sean Ryan or his show or anything like that. But I started listening to some of his episodes, and Don, you're very into World War II in that era, and with the What's the Scuttlebutt podcast.
Let me just bring you
and-
all up to speed so that we can save time. I've basically been watching Sean Ryan, Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson. Not that they're the same, but my point is, at work I have 3 monitors and a speaker. I don't watch it, but so yeah, most of Sean Ryan's shows I have heard.
Yeah.
I listen to them at work. I just haven't heard the one that you're going to talk about. So, but yeah, just
Yeah.
for cleanliness sake, I'm very, very familiar with who he is. And I actually think I sent you guys a message probably before you knew who he was. He spent some time in
Probably.
Cape Coral.
That sounds kind of familiar, I think.
Before he became a podcast host, back when he was doing contract work, because he was in special forces, then he went to contract work, and he tells this story, I think, on Tucker Carlson. He went down to like South America or Philippines or somewhere, and was running a kind of whatever you need I can get for you type of business for tourists, whether it was whatever
He was a concierge.
for people who needed things that weren't exactly on the up and up. Then he said, in the Tucker Carlson interview, he's like, I was sitting in a bar in Cape Coral and people were talking about talking shit about something else going on in the Middle East, and that's when he said, "I gotta get the fuck out of here," and he signed up to be a contractor and went back over for a while. But yeah, so he actually has a little history down here.
I'm just now kind of getting into
Sure.
his show a little bit, and I think the Vietnam War is kind of like my World War II for you. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
kind of
no, that
like
makes sense.
basic,
Yep.
that age gap a little bit. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that was when I was growing up. That was still like a lot of the movies and
Oh yeah,
stuff
you
like
had
that.
Platoon, Hamburger
We were
Hill, Born on the Fourth
soldiers,
of
and
July.
all
Yep.
that stuff. So, and I
Not to
watched a lot of those movies, and
not to
those were a
mention
lot of
all the
inspiration to
great
go in.
Chuck Norris movies, POW, POW 2.
Oh yeah. So the one episode that I happened to find, I started watching it on YouTube. It was about Henry Dick Thompson. He was a MACV SOG um, Green Beret for the Special Forces, and it's a like a 4.5. I think it's 4.5 hours. Yeah, it's almost four and a
Five
half hour.
hours.
This one was 4.5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was 4 hours and 25 minutes for this one.
He
Um,
basically kind of wrote the modern day version of some of the tactics that these guys
let
do.
let me tell you some of the standard operating procedures that the stuff that he was speaking about, where like the standard for the military today, just in general, not like your, special tactics and stuff like that, but just general, SOPs were written by these guys. And these were like the best of the best. Like these were the kind of guys where you didn't know what they did. You didn't know where they went. They left. You didn't see them for months. And finally they came back and they couldn't tell you shit about what they did, where they went, who they went with or anything. And I listened to the whole episode, and he goes into pretty deep detail about everything um, that he did, down to signing a 20-year contract where he couldn't speak about any of this stuff for 20 years, from 1967 or 8 or whatever it was that he was there. So that would have been the 80s until the 80s that he wasn't able to actually talk about any of that stuff. So, but it's an interesting episode. I mean, he pretty much Sean doesn't really talk for most of the episode. It's pretty much him bringing out all of his stories, like some of the missions that they went on, some of the ways that he would have to take people out, becoming invisible. He touched on that a little bit, like, and comparing it to hunting a deer and watching a deer move through, growing up. I think he grew up in South Carolina or something like that, but watching a deer move through the woods and realizing that, having a deer come at you head on, you could never really see them. But it wasn't until they would turn their head left or right, that's when you noticed that they were there. And taking that knowledge and integrating it into being a soldier and trying to walk through the jungle and staying completely still. All the way down to walking on their tiptoes, because if they broke a stick, if they walked on their heel, that sound would push out forward. If they walked on their tiptoes and broke the stick, that sound would travel backwards. So that would be less likely for somebody in front of them to be able to hear something like that. So it's a really interesting episode. I know it's a really long one, but if you're interested in anything that has to do with, military, special forces, you know, wartime, combat, anything like that, that's a really good episode to listen to. And I've kind of moved on to the next one for um, the MACV Sogs, one of the other guys that was in there at that time.
The
So
one he interviewed, Shrek, was pretty good. The King of
Shrek.
Baghdad, the Sheriff of Baghdad. That was a good one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
I'll have to put that one on there.
just download. I think it's on. Was he on Spotify?
Yeah.
I say yeah. I
I was
usually just
listening
listen
to it
to
all
it in the
day
car
today.
on the way to work, and I'll make like one episode last a week or whatever. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
how we do most of our consumption.
Yep. But yeah, that's something that if you're interested in that, go listen to that or watch it or whatever. It's really good.
I know you have a hard out, Mike. How much time we got left?
Uh, like now.
Thank you
You
guys
gotta
so
use
much
a
for
couple
hanging out with
minutes.
us for another episode of the What's in Your Head podcast. As we said before, head over to whatsyourhead.com, click on the Patreon link, sign up and subscribe. Send us an email, info@d-410.com. Questions, comments, concerns, what have you. We'd love to hear from you. Until next week, we will talk to you all later.